There's a moment that comes to all of us, that edge, that breaking point where giving up feels like the easiest path. It whispers, just walk away. You gave it a good try, and for a second it makes sense. You're exhausted, drained, beaten down by life. The results aren't showing, the support isn't there, and everything inside you says this fight is costing too much. But let me ask you something, have you really considered the cost of quitting? Regret doesn't hit like a punch, it's not loud, and it doesn't arrive right after you quit. No, regret is a slow poison. It shows up when life moves on, when you scroll through someone else's victory and realize they're living a dream you once had. It creeps in late at night when no one is around and the silence is too loud. That's when the voice returns, not the one that told you to quit, but the one that says, what if you had kept going? A C thing. Quitting doesn't give you peace. It gives you a lifetime of wondering. And wondering is the worst kind of suffering. It's not temporary like struggle. It's permanent. It digs in your heart and rewrites your story, not with failure, but with unfinished business. The kind of business that keeps your soul restless because deep down you knew you had more to give. Regret turns into resentment, not towards the world, but towards yourself. You start looking at mirrors differently. You question your decisions, your grit, your worth. Because when you had the chance to push through, to rise, to fight, you walked away. And the scary part, you'll never know how close you really were to your breakthrough. Time keeps moving, and the opportunities you abandoned don't wait for you. They pass on to someone else, someone who stayed, someone who refused to quit. And it doesn't mean they were better. It just means they endured what you couldn't. And that reality stings, because it shows that it wasn't the world or the odds or the system. It was your choice. And that's what makes regret so dangerous. It's self-inflicted. You did it to yourself. No one else is to blame. You had the pen, you had the page, but you dropped it halfway through the story. And now every day, you're stuck reading an unfinished chapter that ends with a question mark instead of an exclamation point. It's easy to justify quitting in the moment. I was tired. They didn't support me. It just wasn't working. But 10 years from now, those justifications won't comfort you. They won't erase the ache in your chest when you remember the dream that slipped through your fingers. They won't stop the bitterness when you see someone else wear the crown you could have earned. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. Failure doesn't hurt nearly as much as quitting. Failing means you tried. Quitting means you surrendered. Failure is a bruise. Quitting is a scar. And that scar follows you for life because it reminds you what you could have become if you had just held on. So when you feel that urge to quit, I want you to remember something. Regret lasts longer than pain. The pain of pushing through, that fades. The pain of discipline, that becomes pride. But the pain of quitting, that stays. And it speaks every time you see someone win the race you were born to run. You've already given too much of yourself to stop now. Look at everything you've put into this journey. The sleepless nights, the missed celebrations, the time spent grinding when everyone else was relaxing. You've paid a price. You've invested your energy, your emotions, your heart into something bigger than you. And now, just because it's hard, you're thinking of walking away. That's like building a house brick by brick for years and leaving it unfinished because the roof felt too heavy. People don't see what it cost you. They don't see the days when you kept pushing through while your body screamed for rest. They don't know about the nights you sat in silence, doubting yourself, wiping away tears that no one else will ever see. They weren't there when you said no to comfort so you could say yes to growth. But you were. You lived it. You survived it. You earned your scars. Every sacrifice you've made means something. It's part of your story. You weren't wasting time. You were planting seeds. And sure, the harvest hasn't come yet. But do you really want to abandon the field after all the work you've done, just because you can't see the crop yet? Success doesn't work on your schedule, but it shows up for those who stayed committed long after the excitement wore off. You sacrificed friendships. You gave up weekends. You distanced yourself from distraction. You faced criticism. You wrestled with doubt. You stood in the storm while others ran for cover. All of that wasn't for nothing. All of that was your foundation. And now that you're getting closer than you've ever been, you're ready to let it all go. That's not quitting. That's betrayal of the version of you that never stopped believing. You owe it to yourself to see this through. Because the person you were when you started, the one who made those early sacrifices, they believed in this. They believed in you. If you quit now, you don't just disappoint the people around you. You betray your own journey. You disrespect the old version of you who gave up comfort so that today's version could stand taller. You've already lost too much to turn around. You lost sleep, you lost ease, you lost safety. But you didn't lose those things for no reason. You lost them because you believed in the vision thing. And just because the path got dark doesn't mean the destination isn't still ahead. You're just in the middle. Don't die in the middle. There will always be a moment where giving up looks like relief, like peace, like freedom. But it's a lie. Quitting is disguised as freedom, but it's really a prison, one built from regret, what ifs, and wasted effort. If you're going to carry the pain, at least make it count. Don't let your sacrifice serve no purpose. When you quit, everything you gave up along the way loses its meaning. All that effort, all that time, it becomes just pain. But if you keep going, that pain becomes proof. Proof that you were built for the storm. Proof that you didn't fold. Proof that your sacrifice wasn't wasted, but honored. You don't build greatness without sacrifice. You don't build anything worth keeping without bleeding a little for it. And if you've already bled, already struggled, already climbed, then don't throw that away. You're already in the fire. At least make it forge you.